They say security is just a state of mind. It's all just relative. But when it comes to your crypto and your money in general, this is even more crucial. In December 2021, I did an unboxing video of this device, and now that I've had several months to use it regularly, I do have some thoughts. This is my NGRAVE Zero review and my thoughts 6 months later. My name is Crypto Renegade, and I've been a crypto security expert for the last 7 years. And in this video, I'm going to explain why this crypto wallet is the absolute most secure wallet that money can buy, what made me move all of my crypto private keys from the Ellipal Titan over to the NGRAVE Zero, what developments, features, and improvements that this wallet has made in the past 6 months. And finally, in an attempt to be as neutral as possible, I will list a few pros as well as cons so it can help you make an informed decision. So if you've made it this far into the video, then you probably already know, some of you very painfully, the inherent risks with leaving your crypto private keys with a third-party custodian, like Coinbase or Robinhood, and of course, more recently, Celsius. Most people just assume that their crypto assets are insured due to loss, or the company going under, or otherwise becoming inaccessible for any other reason. But this is simply not true. These platforms require you to trust them. But you know what they say, trust takes a lifetime to build and only a second to break. It's been extremely obvious over the last week that if you do not have your own self-custodial crypto wallet, like this, then you do, in effect, not own any crypto. The provider you store it with actually does. Now just hang tight for a few minutes and I will explain briefly the importance of self-custody of your own private keys, why the NGRAVE Zero here is my wallet of choice, and even if you can't afford any type of hardware wallet at the moment, I will link above this video right now the 5 best free crypto hot wallets that you can use, since that's even better than using a third-party custodian who controls your private keys. Just remember, not your keys, not your coins, period.
Your keys, your Bitcoin. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin. Your keys, your Bitcoin. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin.
So if you've been watching my channel for any period of time, you probably already know that I tend to focus on crypto hardware wallets, as that's my passion. And there have been many different cold storage solutions that I've used over the years, starting with Ledger and Trezor back in the early days. And as time has progressed, new types of hardware wallets have been invented, and they have seemingly been only getting better and better. However, when making a hardware wallet decision, there is only one, just one, factor that should be your North Star or predominant deciding factor when deciding to pull the trigger on a hardware wallet purchase. It's not the cost, it's not coin support, it's not even staking, it's security. For so long, all these different hardware wallets have all had the same functionality, same design, same setup, and we're all using the same security element chip, just in different shapes and sizes, albeit. Now the problem is the private key generation, the seed phrase, and the overall user experiences were all fragmented. Not to mention that you needed to buy a secondary metal recovery seed backup to ensure that if your paper seed is lost, burned, or eaten by your dog, that you were ultimately screwed if you didn't have one to begin with. Now, this is where NGRAVE came in and changed the entire crypto hardware wallet game. To recap, if you haven't seen any of my other review or comparison videos, which I will link down below in the description and at the end of this video, is that this is the first truly end-to-end security solution for your crypto private keys. It starts with the private key generation being offline, using both external factors like light and entropy and the ability to pause the random key generation. and interact with the device in a way that is literally impossible to predict from their end. They will never know your private keys. This is by design. Now, it also has the world's first EAL7 Plus security element chip, the first and only of its kind in a hardware wallet, and that's actually a pretty big feat. Now, I am not going to be speaking negatively about any other hardware wallet company in this video, but if you do some research on the specs of what they use, you will come to find out the truth for yourself. Now, it's also truly air-gapped. This means that there's no Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth, no NFC, no wires, no connectivity to the internet of any kind. This is achieved by the use of the NGRAVE Liquid mobile app that allows you to initiate transactions online, but requires the Zero to sign it offline. The private keys never leave the device, ever. Not to mention the NGRAVE graphene, which is a multi-plate metal backup of your private key. And that was designed in such a way so that you need both the top plate and the bottom plate in order to decode your private key. This means that your master perfect private key will be decentralized as you store both plates in separate locations. The primary problem with the standard 4-letter metal backups is that if someone finds it, they can immediately import your seed into a new wallet, of course, assuming they know what they're holding, and take all of your private keys for themselves. Game over. Now, near the end of the video, I will recap some of the pricing of this device, the coin support, and some of the new features, but I'm not gonna lie, this is a high-end and very premium device. It has quality craftsmanship and intelligent thought and effort, and is designed to withstand the test of time. So if you want the best of the best, then look no further. I've been searching myself for several years, and this one is truly unique and very special, unlike anything I've seen or personally experienced before. So you might be wondering, well, Zach, you used to use the Ellipal Titan, and isn't that one air-gapped as well? Also, isn't it cheaper and just as secure, and of course has more coins and staking already? Well, it is indeed cheaper, and it does currently have more blockchain and coin support, and has a few coins that do allow staking. But I can assuredly tell you that it is not as secure as I once thought. This is why I moved all of my private keys off that device and onto the Zero as soon as I got it. A few things I learned after using it pretty often for a few years is that the battery life on the Ellipal was not consistent. In fact, I'm actually glad I moved it over to the Zero, since soon after I did that, the entire battery died, which means I would have had to buy a new one. Additionally, they do not allow the use of XPubs, which are extended public keys, to generate new addresses for multiple checkouts. It also did not use any fresh addresses for UTXO coins, amongst other small security concerns. And when I was finally trying to sign multiple transactions, it has an autoplay feature that required over 20 different QR code scans, which many of them failed halfway through, I might add. So moving a hefty amount of funds took me over 2 hours, and a full firmware update, and a full restore, and of course lots of headaches. It didn't used to be that way, but the UX just started to slip, and of course did not use any security element chip or secure key storage. After doing a much deeper dive into their assembly line in China and the processes utilized for their security, it was enough for me to personally stop using it entirely. Again, my opinion. It was fine for several years, and I do not want to talk negatively about any specific company, but this was my personal experience and opinion, which unfortunately degraded as time went on. Okay guys, so let's switch gears a little bit. I wanted to show you the Zero device itself, kind of how the interface works, some of the new features that are just recently released, and some of the ones that are upcoming. So as you can see, this is a full touchscreen display. It's over 4 inches. I'm going to talk about some of the basic security features and some of the options that you already have, and then what's recently rolled out. So taking a quick look here, obviously you can see the specific apps or native apps or coins that I've decided to add onto my Zero are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and a few ERC20 tokens like Chainlink, Ocean Protocol, iExec RLC, Bitcoin Cash, Zcash, USDC, Tether, DAI, Engine, Uniswap, Compound, Matic, Aave, Mana, Sandbox, Curve, 1inch, Ren, Sushi, SNX, and then of course here are some of the new ones that have recently been added in the last firmware updates, which I'm really excited about. Tezos or XTZ, Elrond or EGLD, Stellar or XLM. XRP is already added on this, but I don't have it on my particular device, but it is an option if you like XRP. And then most recently is Solana. So now you can send and receive your Solana and Solana-based tokens on this device. And one thing I will point out is that one of the next or newest releases that are coming is going to be Solana-based NFTs. Now, I want to come back here, and of course on the bottom here, you can add any particular coin. So if there's any specific ERC20 token that you want to add, you can add that manually here. So for example, it auto-completes based on what you're looking for. So like, for example, if I want to add Grossel coin, it'll allow you to auto-complete and do it that way. And then also, if for any particular reason your ERC20 token isn't showing up here, you can manually send it to your ETH address and you'll be just fine. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about here, Ethereum-based NFTs, which was just released in the latest firmware update. So you can send your Ethereum-based NFTs, so if you have Bored Apes or any other collections, CryptoPunks, whatever it may be, you would just click on the Ethereum here, and then it will generate your Ethereum address. You click receive, and you can also do this on the Liquid as well, but you can just simply scan the QR code from your phone and send your NFT here, and then the NFT will actually show up visually in the Liquid, which is the mobile app that comes with this. So I just wanted to let people know that you no longer have to leave your NFTs on MetaMask or any other sort of hot-based wallet that is online. I know NFTs are very valuable, can be very expensive and lucrative, so you definitely want to keep it cold, and I am very excited that NFT support is now added. You can add as many Ethereum accounts as you want, so if you want to have separate wallets, you can do that as well. So that's really cool. This thing here is for you to synchronize your Liquid Zero here. So you would just scan from the Liquid and it will synchronize all the accounts and all your balances and everything, which is pretty nifty. Also, here's the camera where it will have the QR code scanner as well. This is for signing transactions between the Liquid and the Zero. So that's pretty nifty. And then over here in the settings, of course, you have the sync option as well. You have system preferences, screen lock, wipe the device. So for screen lock, you can set it at 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. I set mine at 5. As far as the display secret key, it's going to require your PIN. Obviously, I'm not going to show that on this video, but that is your perfect or private key that can be displayed. Hidden accounts, all of those will show here as well. So if you have any specific hidden accounts that you want to have removed, they will not disappear, they will show here. Passphrase is coming in a very future update, so you can have a 25th word, essentially a custom password in addition to your private key and recovery seed phrase. And then obviously this is for firmware update mode. About the device will give you the current version number. I'm on V1.2. I don't think it's quite released yet because I'm using the beta, but that shows you there. And then device protection, you can have your 2FA or two-factor authentication. You can change your PIN. You can manage your fingerprints. I'm not going to type in my PIN here, but obviously you can have up to 5 different fingerprints, which means you can either have multiple hands or multiple fingers if it's just one person, or if you want to have, say you have a partner or say you have a family member or whatever the case may be, you can have multiple people have fingerprints on the device as well, which is pretty good for security as well. So every change that you make requires your 8-digit PIN, which I think is really nice. And then obviously it's just a very clean and very simple user interface. So obviously Dogecoin as well as another native app. Zcash is one of my favorite, but these are just the ones that I've decided to add. I'm really excited about the ETH-based NFTs because I'm going to send those over fairly soon. Tezos-based NFTs are going to be here. Solana NFTs are going to be here even sooner, and native apps are being released all the time with every update as well as bug fixes and so on. So one of the other things that I wanted to briefly touch on is some of the coins that are in the pipeline that are actually being developed as we speak. And again, I'll leave the link down to the roadmap below here, but some of the big ecosystem coins, so you're getting things like Avalanche or AVAX and the tokens that are based on that protocol. You're also gonna have Cardano, so that would also include eventually Cardano-based NFTs, Cardano-based tokens, and then obviously ADA. And then one of the other things that I'm gonna be talking about in a future video is going to be obviously the staking with Liquid and earning yield, lending, borrowing, that kind of thing as well. So that's not quite here yet, but they're building a really strong foundation to make that happen. Those are the biggest ecosystem coins that are coming. I know there's more in the pipeline, but those are the ones that are actively in development. And so I just wanted to briefly touch on that in terms of the device usability. It's very simple to use. For example, if I click on Tezos, all I have to do is hit send or receive. I can copy this. It's just really simple to use, whereas other devices with smaller screens, it's just very simplistic in a good way where it's still secure, but it's not too cumbersome. A lot of exciting developments here. And then, of course, on the device itself, on the back here, you have your fingerprint scanner, you have the camera. Down here, you have the USB-C port, which is used for charging and doing firmware updates. And then you have the power button here. And this power button here obviously allows you to shut off or turn off the device. So if I hold down the power button, it'll say, do you want to turn off the Zero? I'll click yes, and then it will cold boot down. So let's jump into the next part of the video. Now, this wouldn't exactly be a fair video if I didn't touch on both the pros and cons of this device and overall crypto security solution. So I want to try to keep this as balanced as I possibly can, even though I really do love this device. So to keep this part relatively short, let me cut right to the chase. Here are some of the obvious pros of this device. 1, it is the most secure hardware wallet that money can buy. With the mixture of the secure private key generation process to having a 3-tiered cold storage solution between the liquid, the Zero, and the graphene, you don't need to purchase anything else to be fully covered. 2, the EAL7 Plus security element chip is the first of its kind in this type of device. No other wallet has it. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, security is everything. If you want peace of mind, these guys have thought of everything that either has gone wrong and can go wrong. Believe me, I've spoken with the team several times and I've asked some very intense and detailed questions. 3, the user experience is top notch. It's easy to use and understand. Signing transactions is reduced to only a few but necessary secure steps. And the 4-inch touchscreen display here is big enough to navigate, scan QR codes, enter the 8-digit PIN code, and has a biometric security feature on the back here for multi-factor authentication. Now, additional security features are coming soon per the roadmap that I'm showing you. And also security, security, security. This is the entire point of a hardware wallet. And if you don't get the basics of private key security right, everything else is built on a faulty foundation. You will never have this problem with NGRAVE because their foundation was carefully planned right from the beginning. Very few companies actually put security first, but NGRAVE does. Now, let's talk about a few of the cons of this device at the moment. And again, if you want me to be as objective as possible, let's start first. First is coin support. Even though this device does not have all of the same coins supported that other devices have yet, it still has the basics that most users require. Bitcoin, ETH, ERC20s, XRP, Doge, XTZ, Elron, and most recently XLM and Solana. Now I want you to understand that no hardware wallet company will ever have every single coin that you want, as this is very time intensive and cost intensive. But I can assure you that they are working very hard to bring you the most popular chains ASAP. Take a brief look at the roadmap of what's coming next on your screen now for a preview, with even more to be announced soon. Secondly, now that I've caught a glimpse of the roadmap, you may have noticed that staking support is on its way. Now, this is in development, but it is currently not released yet. This is also a costly and ambitious process, but rest assured, it'll be worth the wait. Third, minor glitches and bugs. Now, this happens with every single software or hardware company. It's just the nature of the game. Some minor things that I have seen is multiple addresses that are hidden can still be shown via the liquid. And also there isn't a way to customize certain transaction fees on certain ETH-based tokens. And the QR code scanning is currently a bit laggy when signing transactions via the liquid. Now, I want to reiterate, with the above small little dings, they have already begun working on a fix for all of these minor issues. And I know more and more features and bug fixes are already in the works. How do I know this exactly? Well, because I'm part of the beta testing group for all these new rollouts before they actually reach the public. And they are very, very responsive and attentive to the user experience, and of course are very methodical in their approach to tackle these minor things as they arise quickly. They truly do care about the user experience, but will not compromise on security. So it is very well tested and thorough before the public ever sees it. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it for my 6-month experience and NGRAVE Zero review. If you have any questions or comments about this device and or want the best possible deal you can get on this device, since it is in short supply, go ahead and check out my link down below in the description. It'll always be updated with the best possible option for you. Now, a few other things I wanted to wrap up on is obviously I get a lot of questions about coins or tokens, and does it have this coin, does it have this blockchain? They're actively developing on what is going to be most needed, most in demand, but you have to understand resource allocation, you have to understand the needs and the demands of all the users. Not like I mentioned, every hardware wallet is not going to be perfect for every particular customer, but I can with confidence tell you that out of over 15 hardware wallets that I've used in the past several years, this one really is secure. This one has the best user interface, the best user experience, the cleanest. I haven't had any major problems with it. The team has been very responsive. And I've done obviously a lot of research on the team, and that's why I feel most comfortable moving the majority of all my holdings over to this device, even though it doesn't have every single coin, or even though it doesn't have all of these things already, but I know they're being worked on and developed. So a few more features that I want to wrap up and tell you that are officially on the roadmap, which again, I will link down below in the description. ENS names are coming, so that's the Ethereum name standard. So if you have any .eth names, that'll be supported soon. There's going to be staking via the Liquid. As far as how that will work or how the format works, I will update in a future video here, probably in a few months. There's going to be MetaMask integration that's, I know, being worked on as we speak, and that way you can use your Zero to securely keep your private keys offline while you're using MetaMask, whether you're using it for a DeFi application, whether you're using it in the metaverse, it doesn't really matter. You know, your private keys are always going to be safe on this device. And then obviously I'll link at the end of this a review of all of my comparisons of NGRAVE versus all the other major hardware wallets, as well as the graphene, what makes it different, and obviously there's comparisons there. So honestly, I'm very impressed with this device. Like I said, I've used lots of devices, and this one from beginning to end is very thorough, very well thought out, very secure, whereas a lot of these other wallets are simply just not. They're just kind of using the same framework. They're not putting in a lot of effort into the security, which really, as I pointed out, is the most important thing, especially with everything we've been seeing these days. Security is so important. So as far as security goes, this is absolutely the best. I don't think that there's going to be anything else that even comes close to this. Now, as far as the pricing, as far as, obviously these are some of the current coins that I'm holding and using on this device, but as far as the pricing, go ahead and check my link in the description. I believe as of filming this, you can get the NGRAVE Zero, which is the hardware device, as well as the graphene, I believe for 498 euros. That may change depending on the time that you're looking at this. But also check the link because it will always be updated with the best possible price that you can get. Again, a lot of exciting features that have already been announced, even more features that haven't quite been announced to the public yet, but I'll leave that roadmap in the description. And if you have any questions or comments for the team or for me in my experience or anything like that, let me know and I will get you connected and get you the best answer I possibly can. So very impressed with it so far. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here. Click on this video here if you want to see my initial unboxing and review of my first impression 6 months ago, or click here on the right where you can see some of the comparison videos against other hardware wallets. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here. Crypto Renegade out.